Well guys, it's 6 in the morning. I planned on leaving a little earlier. I got up at 4, but it took me a while to get the camper hooked up and everything actually ready to go. But it's 6 in the morning now, and I'm leaving for Hot Springs, Arkansas for pipeline work. I'm in the 2002 Tahoe pulling the 29-foot camper. So, here we go. Let's see how it works out. Alright guys, so I'm driving here.
I'm walking here!
And I'll give you a little lowdown now on the vehicle I got and everything, the story. So, I was working for a pipeline company. First getting on pipeline as a welder's helper. Did that for 5 weeks, and we had another job lined up, but that other job let us go. They revoked, or we didn't have our next contract actually, or something. So, the company I was working for laid us all off because they didn't have their next contract. And I was off for about a month and a half, just doing random stuff, and I decided to get a job because my boss hadn't called me. Got a job and started working it in a meat factory. It didn't pay that good. It did pay all right. I just didn't get enough hours. It was a night shift. And my second day of work, my pipeline boss called me and said he had a job. Well, at the time I had waited around and didn't have the money to go on the road. And I have a crew cab truck. I can pull some weight. It's got an 88 IDI 7.3 diesel motor in it. And pulling this camper here I'm pulling, with that truck I can pull stuff and I have some power, but something big and boxy, I just can't stay in my higher gears on hills or on the highway. So sometimes I'll be anywhere from 55 down to even 40 pulling up a long hill or a flat. So, and that truck had issues anyways, so I didn't want to take it. I was afraid it wouldn't make it and it'd take me forever, maybe break down. So I worked a few weeks, saved up a little bit of money, and I was ready to go on the pipeline. So I called my boss up. He said he'd still take me. So where I'm at now is I had a tiny bit of money, not much. Like, I'm gonna scrape by on fuel money to get there. But I wanted to go and make better money, so I wanted to do it as soon as I could, plus just for good credibility with my boss, get out there as soon as I can. I don't think I'll be a welder's helper down there, at least not at the moment, because I think the welders down there already have helpers. So I think I'm just gonna be a labor hand. But I'm doing this, 1, more money, 2, stay in the loop, and just work on my career. But I needed to get down there, didn't have something good to pull my camper. So in my mind, something that can pull my camper that is dirt cheap, that I kind of trust, is the Chevy Tahoe Suburban Pickup LS platform. I know some people haven't had the best luck with them, but overall they're an incredibly reliable vehicle. And my parents had a 02 Chevy Suburban. I think it has like 400,000 on it. And it's had like 2 or 3 water pumps, 1 or 2 fuel pumps, and a rear axle. And that's been all. Still running on the same motor and trans. Granted, my dad takes care of that vehicle, so that's probably why it's been reliable. And they've put a lot of miles on it themselves. They didn't buy it with all those miles. They've had it for years. But I needed something to pull, so I scoured Facebook Marketplace until I found myself a cheap 5.3 LS 4-wheel drive Tahoe. And I really wanted 4-wheel drive, which helped because this morning when I left it was all icy on the roads. But one, I'm gonna go up a couple little mountains, I think, driving down there. It's a bumper pull. The Tahoe's nice because it's shorter. I mean, my wheelbase doesn't help that much, but it helps me turning this camper around. That's 30-foot bumper pull. Bumper pull, you don't have a lot of room to move. I was pulling this trailer with my crew cab. My crew cab doesn't turn worth a darn. So this Tahoe being short really makes it nice for turning and backing up into spots and stuff. And it's four-wheel drive in case I'm in a muddy area. In this Tahoe, I think most of its life it was treated fairly well, but I would say at least the last owner didn't treat it the best. Because one, I heard there was a fight between a husband and a wife, and someone took an axe to it. So there's like 2 axe holes in the hood. Driver's fender has been all caved in with an axe. So there's that. There's the average rust in it. And the carpet was horribly disgusting. It's like, I put transmissions in the back of vehicles like this, and it's like someone had leaked tranny fluid all over the whole thing. And then drove down a bunch of gravel roads, so it filled with dust. So it was just matted dust in the carpet, like thick clobs. So I pulled the carpet out of it and just wiped up the seats, wiped the interior. There's like an inch of dust on the dash. Not really, but pretty much. Wiped it all up. Turns out the water pump was leaking, so I replaced the water pump. I gave it an oil change because that was really dirty and low. And it says the fuel consumption sensor is bad, which is like a $500 part. I bought this for $1,000, and it seems to run fine as it is. So I haven't replaced that. I'm just rolling with it. One, I don't have a lot of money either, so I don't want to spend it all on a sensor. And that's half the price I bought the vehicle for. But it seems to be pulling okay. It has 282,000 on it, and that's granted a lot of miles. But driving this thing, when I test drove it, from what the guy said who I got it from, he said you can't even feel it shift. It drives smooth. And this vehicle does start up great. And it does have a low voltage issue because I have 3 headlights that are dim. I even put new bulbs in them. But you couldn't feel it shift. It drove smooth, started up nice, runs nice. But the camper I have is a 29 foot or 29.5 foot Trail Runner by Heartland, 2011. And I think it weighs around 6,500 pounds. And then I also have weight in it. And this thing's towing capacity, that's around the max for it. This is like 6,500, 7,000 pounds towing capacity. So I'm kind of at the limit of my towing capacity. It's a short vehicle, so it's kind of bouncy. But this seems to run pretty great unless I'm going up a steep hill. Sometimes when I do a gear change up a hill, it won't grab a gear. It will let go of the gear to change, and it won't grab the next gear. It just revs up unless I left off the pedal. But that's only sometimes up some hills. And granted, this vehicle has a lot of miles and has been treated rough probably at some point. With it running as good as it does, I'd say most of its life it was treated pretty well though. But I just seen these things go forever, get a lot of miles, overall are a good reliable vehicle that can actually pull a load. And you can find them cheap. It used to be sell for $1,000 all the time. $3,000 is pretty common for these, and was then too. Now it's hard to find them for $1,000, but someone's had one somewhere sitting for sale for a while for $2,500, $1,500, whatever, and you can usually actually get that vehicle for $1,000. So it's a good, cheap vehicle that should get you from A to B. So that's why I chose this to pull my camper up there. Hot Springs, Arkansas, or down there, I guess, because I'm from Kansas. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm on the road. I've probably driven 140 miles, looks like. I set the trip, but I set it way late. And I will show you guys the oil pressure. Oil pressure on this thing is amazing. Temperature sits all right. Seems to be a pretty good vehicle for this though, and I would recommend if you need a beater vehicle, get a Tahoe or a Suburban or one of the pickups. I personally like the Tahoes and Suburbans better because I feel like they haven't been treated as rough as the pickup, and I don't know why, but it seems a lot of the pickups have the rear ends of the trucks. I see more commonly where they're rusted out more than the SUVs. And that's a weak point on those trucks. The cross tubes rust out that holds the fuel tank, shocks mounts rust off. And I haven't really seen much of that in the Tahoes and Suburbans. I don't know why. and the trucks have usually probably been ran harder. But yeah, pretty good vehicle. I'm going up little hills and down little hills here, and run about 60 most of the time. People keep passing me, so it must be 65 or something, or they're just speeding. So yeah, I think that's about it. I'll just give you guys a quick look at the dash and then give you another update on down the road, maybe when I'm in Oklahoma or something. But it's like an 8.5 hour drive from where I live to get to Hot Springs, Arkansas. So I will keep you guys posted, I guess. I'll let you know a couple stops. I already stopped for gas for a couple times. I didn't really need it, but I did it, so. Well, I'm gonna show you guys the dash and then get back to you. Well, just hit Oklahoma, and scenery doesn't look much different yet. It really doesn't. Oklahoma from Kansas kind of looks the same. But it's about 10 o'clock, and I think we're supposed to be in Hot Springs around 3 o'clock, a little after. And I wouldn't be surprised if I get there at 4 o'clock. I still got quite a few hours to go. And I'm just going to be taking it slow, so just hit Oklahoma, almost at a half tank of fuel, a little more. Let's see where it gets us. Well, here we are in Oklahoma. Got about 4 hours left. I don't exactly know where we are, but I'd guess we're about halfway. Copper's happy to get out and stretch her legs. Copper, come here. Nope. There's the rig. Well, I'm still in Oklahoma, and I just got out of some fairly windy hills, up and down, side to side, but now it's straightened out and it's a little flatter, but starting to look a little different, getting closer to Arkansas. This kind of looks like Oklahoma, but where I came from looked closer to Arkansas. Well, I've been in Arkansas for a little while now, and I got about an hour, 40 minutes to go, but this is a really pretty area down in here. It has some pretty hills, pretty trees. I saw a little logging yard, so that was pretty cool. Haven't seen that at all yet, but I've always been interested with it. Copper's all happy. She loves riding along. And Arkansas is real pretty. Only 2 more hours to go, so. And we'll probably wash this in the camper because they're dirty to look a little more, I don't know, less like hooligans or whatever with dirty stuff at the yard. So give this a wash, give the camper a wash. It's all muddy and wet in Kansas, but around here it seems to be pretty dry for the most part. Well, there's puddles in the driveway. Maybe I spoke too soon. Well, here's a little more scenery, and I think I have 40 minutes left to go. And I just stopped, and I have a leaking trailer tire. It's still hard right now, but it is leaking. So I'm hoping within the 40 minutes or so to get to my destination. I hope I don't have to change the tire before then. And this doesn't appear to be the funnest area to change a tire anyways. So hopefully we can make it without having to change the tire. But in Arkansas, kind of in the mountains, and got like 40 minutes left to go, so that's all good. Alright, I'm in Exxon, Arkansas, about 30 minutes from my destination. Trying to car wash here. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock off all my Kansas dirt, dump it right off here. Explorer's been handling all right. And that leaky tire, still kind of hard. There's actually a bunch of separation right here, which is weird because I didn't see any dry rot when I bought this thing. And I've only had it like probably 3 months or so, not even. And the other tires look pretty good. But that one has dry rot in it or something, some kind of separation. And it's not leaking at the moment, but it was leaking when it was parked with it sitting down. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock off all this Kansas dirt. Make it look a little better. Not look like the trash of the RV park. Uh-oh, here comes a maybe non-friendly friend. He seems friendly. Copper, are you gonna be nice? She's old and 16, so she's very territorial. Come here, buddy. He's a little scaredy. You be nice, Copper. Copper, are you gonna be nice? Making a pit bull tremble. You be nice, Copper. He seems like a good girl. Oh, did you do that? Copper, what did you say? You be nice, Copper. All right, well, I made it to Arkansas. I watched the video on my phone to figure out where I was at. This is actually about 3 weeks later. But I made it the last 30-minute track. Wasn't bad at all. My tire didn't go flat on me. I made it to the RV park fine. This thing pulled it just fine. And I know on my way down, I said every once in a while I'd let go of the transmission going up a hill lugging. And it has a lot of miles and it's an older vehicle, but I unhooked it from the camper. The camper was probably just at its weight rating or a hair higher and never went over a scale or nothing. But unhooked from the camper, this vehicle is shifting great and operating just fine. I need to check the fluids on it. I haven't checked the fluids yet since I've been here. Well, I did once, but that was when I first got here. But four-wheel drive's working on it. It's a great running vehicle. Got me all the way to Arkansas, and now I've been driving it through the mountains for work. Like, I'm up in the mountains. I'm on top of a mountain here for signal. You can see the right-of-way behind me for the pipeline. There's a right-of-way going the other way. Right now, I just ain't got nothing to do at the moment, so I figured I'd finish up this video, but the old Tahoe ran great and made it. I made it to the RV park, and I think I already explained everything on this thing, so I think that's probably it for the video. But yeah, if you need an old vehicle, in my opinion, go get yourself a Chevy pickup or a Tahoe or a Suburban of this body style, or even like the Cowdeye just with the 5.3 or 6.0 LS Vortec motors. Those are great motors. The transmissions aren't the best, so be careful on that. I mean, they are really good transmission, just some of them have gone out at 200,000, some will get you to 400,000 and past. So just make sure when you're buying one, it has a good transmission and it hasn't been abused too bad. But this thing, I mean, I've been going up and down through these mountains, through creeks and all kinds of stuff, and this thing holds up real good on the trails. Can pull a load down the road, and they're just a good, reliable vehicle. I'm a Ford guy personally, but just like I did, if I'm in a bind or you're in a bind and you need a good vehicle, this is the one to get you. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. All the support is always appreciated, so thank you guys very much, and we'll catch you on the next one, Black Diesel Garage. See you guys.